It's been a few weeks since I filmed and made part 1 public about the new home build on Downeast Thunder Farm property, and there's a reason for that, and we thought we were going to move right along. And of course, in the first part we made a scale model base. It could be used as a layout so you can visually see in scale how you could lay things out, different floor plans if you wanted to. But we had a soil test engineer that's licensed by the state of Maine, and this is a requirement, by the way, to come and test the soil, and then they design a septic system. And so we showed them where the cabin was going to go, the piece of property that was marked out. It's my daughter's new cabin. And what they found out, he didn't know this until he got home, but there's a lot of slope, and the slope exceeded 20 degrees, and that's the limit, the cutoff point, where they cannot design a septic system, you know, as far as the leaching bed goes, that kind of thing. So he let us know, and some more time went by. We looked for another area where the house could possibly go on that piece of property, but the slope was just too much. So we scouted another piece of our property that we can deed over to our daughter for her cabin, and we finally found an area that's reasonably level. There is some slope, which you're going to have anyway for the septic system, for gravity type system. And so we called the soil test engineer back. We went through it, and we finally have a solution. So he went and marked the area of where the septic system is going to go. He is going to engineer and design the septic system. He'll send us the drawings when he's finished, and we know exactly where to put it now. And then once we do put it in, before we cover everything over, we have to have a plumbing inspector come by and make sure that we have the proper slope and the septic system is in the exact location as specified by the soil test engineer. Again, it's a state thing here in Maine, but it's not a big deal. We went through that same process when we built our home here 18 and a half years ago. So now part 2. I'm back to that base again, the scale model base, 1 inch to the foot is our 1/12 scale. And instead of just keeping it two-dimensional, just that one base, what I did is I milled down some pallet wood into scale size post and beams, and then I cut the beams to the exact length in scale and put them together. So that's what you're going to see shortly. And now that gives you a 3D perspective when we start laying things out, because the floor plan still hasn't been settled on yet. My daughter and my wife have been collaborating. They've been laying things out. They've done a few drawings in CAD on the computers, but they haven't settled on anything. But what they really have to do is they have to go by these posts and beams where they're located, because these are structural, and they're going to have to locate windows and doors. They don't want to go with the stock design by Jamaica Cottages, so they're going to put the doors and windows where they want to, but as long as it's not in the way of any of the structural posts or beams. So I'm waiting for them to come up with that. In the meantime, I'll show you what I've done so far. So here it is. In part 1, you saw me build this base, which is to scale. This is for Jamaica Cottage's Vermont cabin, 16 feet by 24 feet, and this is a 1/12 scale, or 1 inch to the foot. So this is 24 inches long by 16 inches wide. And so what I've done, I've taken some pallet wood, and where this is a post and beam building, I ripped it down. The vertical posts that go in are 4x4s, and so I ripped these down to scale. These are 4 inches by 4 inches. In real life, that's what they would be, and 92 inches long, which is just shy of an 8-footer, because a 4x4 beam goes on top, which makes it a true 8-foot or 96-inch tall ceiling. So what I'm doing is I'm just building a scale model actually, and I'm going to take a hot glue gun and I'm going to put these posts into place like so, in just the right place. I'm going to make sure that they're plumb as I put this in and hold it, or at least reasonably close. I think that's there. And I've already marked where these posts go. I've got the plans or instruction book for that particular building that the company produces. And so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put in the vertical post right now. This is going to give us a much better idea on how this is going to look when it goes together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these on, and I'll be back in a moment when I'm finished. Okay, so now all of the vertical posts are in place, and now the top beams, horizontal beams, I have to glue this one. I have to re-glue this. I didn't have it perfectly straight up and down, so that's why I just took that off. But I have all the horizontal beams that go on here that I have yet to cut. Those will go on next, and as this comes together, there'll be a bunch of various supports going in place to make it a fairly rigid structure. I think I'm ready to start installing these top beams. Gotta work quickly because this glue sets up fast. Ow, burnt my fingers. It comes apart on me. And I got it all over me. All right. Then the gable ends, I have to fit those and put those in place, and we're going to be ready to go pretty soon. So now I'm going to see if I can get these gable ends on, and hopefully I don't have any more of these glue gun malfunctions. This glue isn't sticking very well. Might not be the best thing to work with, but ow! Oh man, I really burnt myself. Not cool. Don't try this at home, folks. It does not feel good. Probably going to get a blister there now. Well, get the other end done. Now that the basic post and beams are in place, I now have these angle pieces, or angle beams, or whatever you want to call them, and they go in every corner. So again, a little bit of glue, hot melt glue. I don't think this is hot enough yet. We'll try it. But I'll stick these into place, just like in the full-size version. And then I just have to go around the whole structure and put these in. So I think I'm not going to have you sit through the whole thing because it's going to take me a little while. And it's just the same thing over and over again. A little bit of glue, putting these angle pieces, angle braces in. The hot melt glue. And it's starting to look like something now. Be back in a moment. Okay, this is what the framework looks like right now. Okay, I'm back. And as you can see, I now have the basic post and beams already built on that scale model base. And so now there's something to go by, but we didn't add any additional post or stringers or, you know, nailers or whatever you want to call them, purlins. We didn't add any of that sort of thing because I still, my wife and daughter still have not come to a final conclusion of where they want the doors and windows located, and so I don't want to put anything more in until we get to that. And I'll also do some scale model siding too, just to give it more perspective, and also put it in the loft. And then what I'll do is I'll do the framing for the roof, and I'll make the roof in such a way that you can lift it off and see inside, so we can make scale model stove, scale model refrigerator, scale model sofa, bed, all that sort of thing. And then they can move that all around and we can see how it's going to go. And I think in the next video I'm going to take a walk into the woods, and I'll show you where the house is going to go. That hasn't been staked off. Although we have the septic system laid out, now they have to figure out how, well, they have to orient the direction how the house is going to go and how far away from the septic system and that sort of thing. Once we know that, we'll stake it out, and we also have to stake in a road from our main road coming into the property. We have to, well, my daughter is going to design the road. She doesn't want a straight shot. She wants it kind of winding in, and so you can't see the cabin from, you know, from the entrance. So once she stakes that out, I can get the tractor out and we can start doing some clearing. So stay tuned for part 3. I don't know how long of time it's going to take before we get to that point. But this concludes part 2, so remember to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and thank you for watching.